is Margaret Ann Windsor. That's my real name. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers. I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 1941 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a dead twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. Carl and Peggy were born out of wedlock, and my identity was stolen, and I grew up being told that was my name. And it was a hellhole that I lived in. If you call it, it was a pigsty, monsters that lived there. Now then, this has been told. I started telling about murders done in patterns in '70, and I only found out the mechanism used in '76 when I worked for doctors. One of them was a cardiovascular in Atlanta, Georgia, Forsyth, Douglas Forsyth, and he put a chip in a person who was head of a corporation, and without his knowledge, of course, and by that you can alter, modify their behavior, program them to go out and kill, do anything, make it appear depression, and the doctors know the difference, but they'll call it mental illness. That's the sham in all this. But anyway, their decision-making is altered. It can be the person doing the programming. Now then, April Fool Day of '80, I had antifreeze put in me. I'd done the book. Larry McDonald was in it. I could go on. I've given all this before. What I wanted to focus on before people tune me out, CNN, all these people, the media know it. They won't tell it, and I'll tell you why. Mind control is invisible, but it's me. It's my kidnapping that they won't tell about, and what they have done to me in this country and what they've done to my country and to the Germans. Now then, it's an agency here in the States, and I've already said that. You can guess who it is. But actually, in a sense, they've helped torture me, but they also helped save my life, I suppose, if I still live. Now then, CNN is reporting, and they're going through all this. They're saying the link in the, and I'm so sad, she's English. They moved here 12 years ago, Hannah Graham. She was a student at University of Virginia, Charlottesville, which is about 65 miles northeast of Roanoke, where I am. And the Virginia Tech, Blacksburg, is about 45 miles south of me. That's where the mass murders, programming, mind control, and patterns, and can be proven, were done April the 16th of '07. There's a list that were done there. You don't have to have a group like in Tucson, Arizona, and the Grand Theater, or Aurora, Colorado, or Columbine. These were deliberately done in patterns and can be proven. But what I'm hearing, the local, WBBJ7, all the media knows it, not just local. Huntsville, Alabama, where I work for the DA, etc., and Atlanta. But they're saying the link to the Hannah Graham and the Jesse Matthews, supposed to be the killer, he's programmed, goes back to Fairfax, Virginia, and a rape that happened there in Morgan Harrington. Her father, by the way, is a psychiatrist at the at Virginia Tech and here in Roanoke. And they have seen me. They have a beautiful home up to where I've walked on the side of the road because of my name, really, in the book I wrote. And my jobs were blocked. I was targeted. I'm a hostage here. What else? I lived on the Appalachian Trail. I walked up and down the side of the highways. They saw me. They had a beautiful home. And now then, they know it. They could have helped tell this. They could have done anything. They've sure helped since she died. And I'm sorry she died. No one's ever said anything to me other than get out of their way. Now then, they're saying, CNN's saying the link is to Fairfax and the rape that happened there. Well, hell no, it's not. It's back to here, which I put on everything. This is not a forensic. This is done mind control murder that's invisible, and it it involves a database, names, time, and synchronicity. And all I can say, I put it on a bunch of videos. I've carried it to the media who didn't want to hear it. And it goes back, these specific murders they're talking about, which is Alexis Murphy, too, and Morgan Harrington, and Hannah Graham, who's English, as am I, English citizen, goes back to Fairfax, all right, but it's not to the rape that links it together, like they're saying. I went up there to the embassy, the British embassy, English embassy. We don't have much left after the United States got through with us. Okay, it was in, I stayed at the Econo Lodge in Fairfax, Virginia. It's just up from Anchorage Motel. And Anchorage Motel was still intact. That's where my class trip from Moulton, Alabama in '57 spent a few nights there on our class trip at the Anchorage, and it's still there. Now, that's where her body was found, Morgan Harrington's, when it was found. Anchorage, and it's the Bass. I live in Troutville, Virginia, so it's using certain names that fit into a pattern, but Bass has other meanings. But this is the cab that brought me back here from Falls Church. This is the day yellow cab took me, 6/13/01. $250. I don't have money, by the way. I'm kept a pauper. And the address of the Econo Lodge was 9700 Lee Highway in Fairfax. And it was cab 83, Flip Haddock. And that's my name there on it, the name I have to use. But this whole thing has been orchestrated, and the people don't want to tell it. First of all, they don't want to tell about me, most of all. They'd rather let a man, Jesse Matthews, die than tell the truth, as in a whole bunch of them. Like, I want to mention this one. This started back when State Trooper Barton retired. Carl Barton retired, Virginia State Trooper, and his wife took me down to Affordable Corporate Suites. And I'm just going to give you the date and not get into details of what had happened. That was August the 14th of '09, and these murders of Heidi Child, Childs, last name that I have to go by is Childers, so it's a takeoff on that in part, and there's a lot more in it. Jefferson National Forest is where I had to live and freeze for so long, but I'm sad for their father and mother. The Laura has to do with it, but they were shot the end of August of '09. That's when I was taken by the state trooper to Affordable, was August the 14th, and they were shot later, and nobody's been arrested for that. It's who's doing it, but the people are the one that allowed it to happen. They have been the ones that have treated me like the scum of the earth and done every evil act in the book against me. Now then, Morgan Harrington, father's a psychiatrist, and mother, and they have always known about me, but she was killed a couple of months later in October, and she was found on Anchorage Farm near Charlottesville, and Mr. Bass owned it. So now Hannah Graham has been found not too far from there on Old Lynchburg Road. Murphy's body has not been found, but these murders tie in with, for instance, my son and Mark and Scott are heirs to the British Crown. And I don't know where they are. Nobody gives a rat's about what's happened to me. They just want to shut me up. These are old photos. And this is just another one of the murders. This is the mass murders. This is done in patterns. This is Mark Kelly was married to the U.S. Congress lady, Gabby Gifford, from Tucson, Arizona, the mass shootings. He's a twin to his brother, who's an astronaut, too. That's NASA, started in Huntsville. Mark and Scott Kelly, that's my son's names. So there's been a whole bunch of these murders that have been done like that. And this is my father, a man who was taken down illegally before